fans looking for action? Well, you'll get a big bang out of this.
St. Petersburg marks final race in the 1989 series. Offshore racers raised money for children's charity. Hurricane Hugo causes wet weekend in St. Pete. 65 racers compete in the Gulf of Mexico. Offshore mania conquers the South. Dabbit Masters Featured Race Team Series presents the men behind Superboat Jesse James. Chris Lavin talks about the team's performance in 1989. Marine Machine takes us inside racing, and Russell Latimer tells us why his restaurant chain is sponsoring 2 offshore race boats. Midnight Express takes us behind the scenes where we'll meet the world's most famous offshore photographer. Lacer Racing Engines takes us to Mechanics Corner, where Bob Eisenogel demonstrates the latest outboard performance products. So join us on a low-altitude, high-speed flight around the racecourse as we pursue these 100-mile-an-hour missiles. All this and more in this edition of the Offshore Powerboat Race Report.
APBA, the American Powerboat Association. Its challenge, fun and excitement. Whether it's unlimited hydroplanes, offshore, outboard hydros and runabouts, inboard or drag, the APBA offers 9 categories of excitement. Racing, officiating, and just plain spectating are a few of the many benefits APBA membership affords you. Send your $30 and join the APBA today.
Classic Yacht Anti-Foulant is warranted against barnacle growth on fiberglass, metal, and wood hulls for 2 years. Tests over a 4-year period have proven Classic Yacht Anti-Foulant provides a minimum of 2 years protection against barnacles and microfouling in fresh or salt water. Our unique patented formula combines a slippery hydrophilic polymer with biocidal organometallic and hydrophobic polymers. The resulting super slick high gloss surface requires no buffing or polishing. Classic Yacht is the fastest anti-foulant bottom coating, period.
Well, St. Petersburg is the 8th stop on the 1989 APBA OPT National Offshore Racing Circuit. The St. Petersburg Beach Governor's Cup Challenge is the final race of the regular season. The next time these racers meet will be at the World Championship Series in Atlantic City. The racers are enjoying a last fling in the warm weather before they head north for the World Championships. The festivities were threatened earlier this week by an uninvited guest. Hurricane Hugo loomed on the horizon for several days, threatening the entire state of Florida. Only 2 days ago, Hugo turned his fury north, sparing St. Petersburg and the race. But in his wake, Hugo has left a legacy of rough seas and rainy weather as a reminder of his power. But we need no reminder of the power of today's featured race team. Jesse James is a race team that has overcome the odds and bounced back before. Chris Lavin talks about the team's performance in 1989.
Well, it's been 2 years, and it's been like giving birth, and this one's definitely a cesarean. Yeah, it's a 48-foot Linder design Conquest. It's wood and glass. It's mahogany plywood and fiberglass. It's 48 feet long. It's 12-foot 6 wide. It's got 4 4-valve engines, which are probably the drivetrain is the most radical departure. It has really starting from our own 4-valve engines to linking 2 engines together into a transmission that drops it down at the bottom of the boat, and that add into our own design surface drive, and then a pair of key K for 22 by 36-inch props. We basically started this boat from scratch. We built our own props, drives, transmissions, and 4-valve engines. Basically, the driveline's been pretty bulletproof except for the crash boxes, and with the engines we've had our fair share of oiling problems. It seems to be the #1 problem is an oiling problem we don't quite have nailed down. We may have it nailed down by now. I hope we have it nailed down.
A driver's meeting is held prior to every race so that race crews can familiarize themselves with the race course. Over in the dry pits, the boats are prepped for inspection. Crews spend hours going over every item on detailed checklists. Every nut and bolt must be checked. The giant cranes move the boats into the water, and as the boats line up in the wet pits, crowds gather around. The race crews and fans get a chance to meet each other. The race promoters have spent a lot of time and attention to ensure that there will be entertainment for everyone. Concerts, parades, fireworks, and parties are the hallmarks of these events, and St. Petersburg is no exception. The race committee has turned this event into a 4-day beach fest. The large crowds testified to a job well done. The rainy weather failed to dampen the spirits of any race fan. The banners declare that everyone's a winner, and that's true because the proceeds of this event benefit the Suncoast Children's Dream Fund. Early morning race day. The wet pits are filled with activity. The last-minute changes of equipment are a normal occurrence at each race. In this race, there are some changes going on that are not nearly as common. Drivers are swapping boats, changing classes, and switching race crews. We interviewed a few of these race teams to find out why.
This race we're going to switch equipment, and I'm going to drive the Spirit of America boat. It's the last race of the year, and we wanted to try a little bit different equipment, see what's going on with that. And I contacted Nick Antonelli, and we worked out a little deal where we're going to run this boat. So we're excited about it. I chased the skaters all year, and now I want to be in one and try and give those guys a run for their money.
I talked to Felix and his father and their family, and they were willing to let me step down and ride with them, so I'm really looking for a great race with Felix. So the whole thing is with Felix here, because they were nice enough again, or else crazy enough to trust me to get in his boat. So we're going to go out and test some today and see if we can't have a ball out here.
Well, how do you think it's going to be different with Charles driving the boat than with your brother?
It'll be a little different since I'm so used to running with my brother, but I'm sure Charlie will do good. He's got a lot of experience this year. It's gonna be fun.
Well, my regular boat's up in Buffalo, and Gary Rotundo was scaredy cat, and he's not racing for the rest of the season. We were pretty far behind in the points, so probably do the Key West race together. But so I'm driving, misbehaving for this one. They're out of Missouri, Gene Scoggins and Stacy Scoggins. And Stacy usually drives, but he races motorcycles also and broke a shoulder. So I'm just helping them out for this race.
No, we're just using the boat to make a start. So we have our 3 starts for Trump's race, World Championships.
Where's your regular boat?
It's in the shop, being worked on. We're dialing it in.
Well, I think all racers, and regardless of what sport it is, but especially this sport, are together. This is the kind of sport where you can be mad at somebody on the race course, but as soon as you get out of the boat and you're at the bar, you're back to being friends.
Step light on your toes till you've been the saddest man. You don't know, you know. Oh, blame it on me. Shame on the moon.
Thanks.
We'll be right back with the start of today's race after these messages. For dynamic racing action, don't miss our entire series. The Offshore Powerboat Race Report is available by mail order at each race site and at many popular high-performance dealers. Tapes for the current race are available for shipping within 10 days. Just call 305-386-1154 for information about the dealer nearest you. You can keep up with the racing action all year long because the next checkered flag is just one tape away.
Not all transom brackets are created equal. In fact, it can take 5 of theirs to equal 1 of ours. That's why B-Bracket is the world's best-selling multi-engine transom bracket. Our multi-engine B-Brackets are engineered for double, triple, 4-engine, even 5-engine applications. These days, everyone knows the installation of a transom bracket will improve both the looks and performance of your boat. The installation of a B-Bracket will prove you know better. B-Brackets, designed for those who know better.
Welcome back to the 1989 Governor's Cup Challenge. Today's race comes to you from St. Petersburg Beach, Florida. All 5 national classes will be racing today, along with local racers from the 4 Sportsman classes. Superboat and Open class will be racing a 148-mile course. Pro Stock and UIM2 class will be racing 130 miles. Stock class course is 112 miles, and all Sportsman's class will race 72 miles.
Welcome to the 1989 St. Petersburg Beach Governor's Cup Offshore Challenge. This is the last race of the APBA National Series. All 5 national classes are running today, along with 4 Sportsman's classes. This race will determine the 1989 APBA High Points Championships and runners-up. We'll be covering today's race from the water with our boat cam with Billy Messier at the start and finish line and Walter Collins at checkpoint number 2. Babe's helicopter point of view camera will be sweeping the race course to bring you the race from the air. There will be 4 starts today. The first 2 starts will be the national class boats. The superboats, Open class, and UIM2 will be starting first. This is only the 2nd time this year that the UIM2 boats will be included in the first start. After the first start, the pace boat will go back and pick up the Pro Stock and Stock boats for the 2nd start. The next 2 starts will be the Sportsman's classes. As the Superboat, Open class, and UIM2 boats line up, we see Extractor on the outside, Special Edition, Agitator, Fountain, and Bad to the Bone. As we follow the pace boat toward the starting line, we can see that Hawk Marine Power is a little anxious and is about to jump the start. He's pulling back now, but he passed the start-finish boat before the pace boat could put up the green flag. That's going to cost him 3 minutes in time penalty. We've got to start. The UIM2 boats are using their sprinting ability to take the lead. We have Rebellious on the inside, Bad to the Bone, and Agitator on the outside. Maxon has picked up speed and is making a move on Agitator for the lead. Recovery is on the outside, followed by Rebellious, Special Edition, Extractor, Little Caesar's Pizza, Fountain, Team Skater, Totally Awesome, and Vogue's Act. This is the first national race that has ever been staged at St. Petersburg. The Suncoast Powerboat Racing Association won this race date after promoters in Atlantic City canceled the race date that had been scheduled there. The weather today is overcast and rainy. It's about 85 degrees. The heat and humidity may cause horsepower loss. Combined with the rougher water conditions, we can expect to see a slower-paced race today. Number 21, Spirit of America, was in the milling area, but couldn't get on plane for the start. A tough break for the driver, Barry Rock. He needed this start to be eligible to run in the World Championship Series. For those of you who want to know more about offshore racing, Babe Productions has a videotape to help you learn. It's called Intro to Offshore and sells for only $14.95. It's available wherever Babe tapes are sold. This video is a perfect way to get your family and friends interested in the sport. It explains the differences in classes, equipment, and lots more. Intro to Offshore is the most complete documentary on offshore racing to date. At only $14.95, you can't afford to miss it. Maxon is a 35-foot TDC catamaran running in open class. Agitator is a 35-foot skater from UIM2 class. Maxon is running 1,600 horsepower compared to Agitator's 1,300 horsepower. Right now, they're neck and neck for the overall lead. Recovery and Bad to the Bone are in third place and fourth spots overall. This race, as in every race, we've made space available in our helicopter for an APBA medic. This space is donated in the name of the Mark Lavin Safety Foundation. Babe is helping to make offshore a safe sport. Here we have a UIM2 boat, Bad to the Bone. This is a boat we haven't seen much of this year. Driver Jose Leyva and throttleman Rick Conti have only run in 2 other races. This boat broke down in Fort Myers and placed third place in New Orleans. They had to make a start today to be eligible to run in the World Championship in Atlantic City next month. This boat is a 33-foot Express Cat powered by 2 625 horsepower laser racing engines. Team recently changed from United racing engines they've been running. This race is the first chance they've had to test their new engines. These UIM2 boats are competing for the Continental North American Championship. It's the equivalent of the National High Points Championship that the other classes are running for. Bad to the Bone isn't in contention for the trophy because he's over 1,000 points behind the top 3 boats in his class. This boat could still be a wild card in the race for points. Less than 200 points separate Team Skater and Agitator from the national top spot. A strong finish by Bad to the Bone could have a big effect on the point standings in UIM2 class. Right now, Bad to the Bone is in second place in the race behind Agitator. Agitator is vying with Maxon for the overall lead. Number 39, Miss Mellon's racing team, is in third place in open class. They're running behind Maxon in recovery. US 1 Special Edition is currently running in fourth place in open class. Back at the start-finish line, we see the Pro Stock and the Stock boats making their start. There are 6 Pro Stock and 12 Stock class boats running in this race today. The third and fourth starts of the day are Sportsman's classes. Sportsman C and D classes are starting together. There are 3 Sportsman C boats running today and 8 in D class. The last start is the Sportsman's A and B classes. 10 boats are competing in Sportsman's A class today. There are also 10 B class boats racing today. This is the largest starting field of the day. The Sportsman's class boats run at speeds in the 70s to 100 mile an hour range. All 4 Sportsman class will be running at 72-mile course today.
Hey, don't forget the long guy.
His team continues to dominate year after year. With the number 1 spot already sewed up in his pocket, John shows us what a great competitor he is by turning out for this race. Many of the race teams skipped the last race. Once their positions are in for the year, John and J.D. D'Elia suit up for every race, no matter what. Hats off to you guys. That's the spirit that makes offshore a great sport. Right now, they're demonstrating the style that has made them the most winning team in their class. This 35-foot Jaguar hull is powered by twin 750 horsepower Mercruiser engines and outdrives. John D'Elia drives the boat, and his son J.D. is the throttle man. This is one of the two very successful father and son race teams on the circuit this year. The other is Agitator in UIM2 class. Special Edition is currently in third place behind Recovery and Miss Mellon's race team. Here's a superboat we haven't seen since the season opener at Marathon. It's totally awesome. Elliot Sutton is the owner and throttle man. Paul Churchill is the driver. Larry Sutton navigates. This boat is a 47-foot V-bottom Cougar. It's one of 3 boats running in superboat class today. All of them are V-bottoms. V-bottoms have won only 1 race in this class all year. That boat was Lucky Strike, and the race was New Orleans. With no catamarans running in superboat class today, the deep V's will obviously prevail here. Fountain has already dropped out of the race after passing just 2 checkpoints. The race is now between Little Caesars Pizza and Totally Awesome. Little Caesars Pizza is currently superboat leader, but Totally Awesome is gaining fast. Totally Awesome is powered by triple 650 horsepower C&G Cobra racing engines and Mercruiser outdrive. It's chasing Little Caesars Pizza, which is also running Cobra engines. Little Caesars has this boat outpowered by 750 horsepower, but Totally Awesome is a fierce competitor. Extractor is another boat that has been absent from the circuit most of the year. Extractor made only 1 national start this year. That was in Fort Myers, where the team finished 5th. This UIM2 boat is in the number 10 spot in point standings for the season. Driver Alex Gabelli and throttle man Jim Lesnowski are doing better than that today. Extractor is currently in 3rd place in the race behind Agitator and Bad to the Bone. The field has narrowed from 6 boats to 5. Number M430, the Bogzac Blue Water Hose near checkpoint 3 and is out of the race. Bogzac is from Australia and is the only diesel-powered deep V running in the UIM2 class. Extractor is a 35-foot superboat, all powered by twin 600 horsepower Zool racing engines. Superboat is a brand name, not the class of this hull. It's a superboat class boat that they're dueling with now. Totally Awesome is currently in 2nd place in superboat class. Once their national points position are secured, some race teams don't bother to make a show in the last races of the season. Many other race teams make a last-ditch effort to get their 3rd race start to be eligible for the World Championship Series in Atlantic City. Agitator is currently leader in UIM2 class. This is a very capable father and son racing team. Father Alan Dutman drives the boat and his son Kurt Dutman throttles. This is the same system that the D'Elias use, and it's been working for the Dutmans too. Agitator is only 250 points behind Team Skater for the Continental North American Championship. If Agitator comes in 1st or 2nd, and Team Skater comes in 4th or worse, Agitator will become the champion. Right now, that's exactly the way things stand. Agitator is in 1st place and Team Skater is in 4th place. Agitator has won 2 races this year compared to Team Skater's 3 wins. Even though they're not racing today, Eastern Express is guaranteed a 3rd for the season. The Continental North American Championship depends on the outcome of this race. By the end of the day, either Agitator or Team Skater will be taking that trophy and possibly the Governor's Cup as well. Agitator is a 35-foot skater powered by twin 650 horsepower United racing engines and Mercury outdrives. Right now, they're averaging around 100 miles an hour. Agitator is running 1st in UIM2 class and 4th overall on the race course. The first of the Sportsman's class boats are making the turn at checkpoint number 2. This is the farthest point on the course for the Sportsman's class boats. Because they're not professional drivers, they run a more conservative race course than the national class boats. The Sportsman's D are the first to pass. They are led by Hooters, Riva Photo, and Castaway. Force 10 is in 4th place, and Hawk Marine Power is in 5th place. Endangered Species leads Class C. Back up in the Babes helicopter point of view camera, we catch up to Hawk Marine Power. This is one of 2 boats by the same name being campaigned in separate classes this year. This 35-foot Jaguar is running in open class. The other Hawk Marine Power is a cigarette V-bottom that runs in Sportsman's D class. Hawk Marine Power is currently running in 4th place in open class behind Recovery, Miss Mellon's Racing Team, and Special Edition. Hawk Marine Power is in 2nd place in the national point standing behind Special Edition. They achieved this status without winning a race all year. They did it by being consistent. Their racing style brought them into the money in 5 out of 7 races. Although they're in 4th place now, their style is not to push too hard. This team runs a consistent and conservative race. They know that if you don't finish, you don't win. They have a reputation for being survivors. Driver Manny Fernandez and throttleman Craig Berry find a comfortable pace and they stick with it. Even when they're challenged, they stick with the game plan. That doesn't mean these guys aren't fast. We had a hard time catching up with them, even in the roughest waters on the course. They are expert at not pushing their equipment past its limits. They're running over 100 miles an hour over these 3 to 4 foot rollers right now. Timing here is critical. One mistake can cause the boat to stop. They are smart to be conservative in these water conditions. Hawk Marine Power is powered by twin Hawk Marine racing engines and key caver outdrives. Although they're in 4th place now in open class, don't be surprised if they end up in the money. I'd be more surprised if they didn't. Further up the race course, we catch up to Miss Mellon's race team. This boat debuted late in the season and missed the first 3 races. This race team has done very well in the 4 races it's run, but it seems to be suffering from an identity crisis. This is the 3rd name this boat has used this season. In Sarasota, it debuted as Sheer Delight, named for its owner, Edwin Sheer. Soon after that, the boat's name was changed to Assault. Now it has a new sponsor and is called Miss Mellon's Race Team. Need a program to keep up with these guys. By any name, competitors need more than a program to keep up with this boat. It has finished 1st or 2nd place in 3 out of its last 4 races. In Traverse City, it finished 1st, but was penalized for a technical violation and ended up with a 2nd place trophy. Right now, driver Edwin Shear and throttleman Tom McCory don't want to settle for 2nd place behind Recovery. They are attempting to move Joey Impressia and Stuart Hyam out of the lead. This race could be a breakthrough for Miss Mellon's race team. Right now, they're in 5th place in the National High Points race. Special Edition has clinched 1st place. Spirit of America and Chairman of the Board are not running today. This means that Hawk Marine Power has locked up 2nd place nationally. Miss Mellon's race team is less than 300 points behind the 3rd place and 4th place team. A win or a second place today will give Miss Mellons the points they need to place third nationally. Right now, they're locked in a racing duel with number 27, Recovery. This is the first time we've seen Recovery this year. This 35-foot Jaguar is a formidable opponent. They've been trading the lead with Miss Mellon's race team throughout the long leg of this race course. Right now, both teams are pouring it on as they head toward the start-finish line. These boats are cranked up into high gear and are leaving our helicopter behind as they race toward the end of the lap. We'll cut to our boat cam at the start-finish line to catch the action as they come around the course. We can see Panama Jack as he heads toward the start-finish line. Apparently they're having mechanical problems because they're slowing down to pull off the course. Liberator leads in Sportsman's A class, followed by Crack Cock, now in 5th place in B class. Recovery has beat out Miss Mellons as the race overall leader. Team Gulfwind is in 2nd place in A class. On the outside of the course, we can see Miss Mellons only seconds behind Recovery as they head toward turn 1. Special Edition is in 3rd place in open class, and Agitator maintains the UIM2 lead. Hawk Marine Power is still in 4th place in open class. Bad to the Bone has maintained its 2nd place lead in UIM2. Rampage is in 3rd place in Sportsman's A class. Totally Awesome has taken the lead in Superboat class.
But we'll return to the exciting conclusion of today's race after our feature stories. Inside Racing is brought to you by Marine Machine, where the quality never stops. And now Russell Latimer explains why his restaurant chain has plunged into offshore racing.
Well, we'd like to get some national exposure. We're set up to franchise now in 33 states, and we're getting ready to build down in Key West and Alamorada, and so I thought this would be a good way to get our name out across the country.
How's it working for you?
Well, we're just starting. As you can see, this man painting the sign on the side.
Okay, so what's your strategy to get the attention in that? You got what? Bright paint, the girls?
Well, I think a combination of a little bit of everything. The offshore racing is fun, and that's what we're trying to make it fun. We've always had scarabs and cigarette boats that the girls run around on. We have fun with and whatnot, but they're all just pleasure boats. This is the first time we've really gotten serious and gotten down. Let's go win. We're sponsoring 2 boats. One of them is a Motion Cat. It's running in the stock class, and this open boat that you see here. That's it. Let's have some fun with it. You know, and that's what racing is. It's not just all dollars and cents. It's fun.
Midnight Express takes us behind the scenes, and world-famous photographer Ron Thibodeau tells us what he looks for when he shoots a race.
Well, I'm hoping for action. I like a little bit of water so the boats will jump a little bit. I don't want glass water because then the pictures are lousy, but when we have, just 3 to 4 feet, then the boats jump good. The guys like the pictures, and I get happy because I get a thrill out of watching them jump, too. Well, I'm using Hasselblad 70mm film, and I don't have any zoom lenses, so I use the helicopter as my zoom. I talk to my pilot constantly, and I tell him back left to move left or right so I can fill the frame. Sometimes we get away from the boat a little bit, but I shoot it anyhow and then enlarge it. But mostly the helicopter is my zoom. As I said, when I started out, we were doing fixed wings, flying maybe 40, 50, 60 miles an hour tops. Then we started getting into helicopters when the boats started getting up to 60, 70, and 80 miles an hour. And then they moved up to 90, 100 miles an hour. And now I'm up in the faster machines. And we're having a bit of a time keeping up with them. We're almost redlining the helicopters now. So I don't know what we go to next. The bigger helicopters that can move with this speed are not good camera platforms. Can't take the doors off, you can't shoot through the glass. So frankly, I don't know what it is. That's another reason I like a little rough water, because it slows them down.
Catch the spray. Call today. Want to get involved? Participant, sponsor, spectator, or fan. Call today while you can. Buy a rig off the shelf or custom build one to your specifications. Offshore racing, inboard, outboard, diesel. It's yours for the asking. Catch the spray. Call today.
There's a certain group of hard-working, hard-playing adventurers who take their recreation very seriously. They seek all the thrills and excitement life has to offer. The evidence of their enthusiasm for adventure is all around us in the form of the recreational vehicles they use in pursuit of a good time. Speedboats, glider planes, motorcycles, and jet skis. At last, the underwater adventure seeker comes into his own with the advent of Sports Sub. If you're one of the new breed and you're ready for the ultimate in underwater action, plunge into adventure in a Sports Sub. It's the personal submersible for the new frontier.
Laser Racing Engines brings us to Mechanics Corner with Bob Eisnogel, who demonstrates the latest advances in outboard performance accessories.
Well, now, let me tell you this. To start with, I don't guarantee speed to anybody. Now, I will say that the boat will handle much better. You will get better fuel economy and all this, but for somebody to say that you're going to go out here and you're going to run this much faster, he's going to be lying to you, or he's a fool, because there's some boats that create like a power hook in them and things like this, and that's something that I couldn't foresee. But on most all boats, this is one of the most low-dollar items that you can do and get the best performance out of it. You know, it like the low water pickup, it will keep supplying the coolant to the engine at any height you want to run it. And you know, you can go out, guys go out and they buy surface piercing props like choppers and cleavers, and when the water pickup is still located in here on the standard gear case, it can never, the gear case itself can't run high enough to take full efficiency of the high dollar prop they just bought. So when they try to run the engine high enough, they'll end up burning the power head, you know, when they try to get the efficiency of the prop. So with this installation here, now you can elevate that engine up and you can get the full efficiency of the prop, which gives you, you know, better fuel economy and the better speed. That's what most of them are looking for. And that's literally what it's all about. This is the hydraulic lift plate, which we manufacture at the shop. It'll lift any kind of power you want to put on it, 6 inches. This is a vertical lift now. It'll lift 6 inches in less than 7 seconds under full power. Now what that does, that allows you to set the engine down low to like get out of the hole, get a good hole shot, or a ski boat, you know, to get up quick. And then once you're on top, you start elevating the engine up where that it will get better performance and all, less gear case drag, and that takes the advantage of the, well, like the nose cones here with the low water pickup and so on, the surface piercing props. It just gives you the best of both worlds, you know. Well, we're the only manufacturer in the world that makes the kit and does offer the installation, and we give a warranty on it as well, and that's the main thing right there, is that just nobody else offers the service or for the type price that I'll handle it for. You know, I do it at a good fair price. Would you like to know the price?
If you like to tell us.
Okay, well, the totally installed with a 3-day turnaround is $225. That's parts and labor. And, you know, we do it on everything. We do it on Mercury, OMC, Yamaha, Suzuki. Makes no difference. We, you know, we're not prejudiced in any way.
Welcome back to the conclusion of the 1989 Governor's Cup Offshore Challenge.
Here's a recap of the national race leaders. In Superboat class, it's Totally Awesome and Little Caesars Pizza. Fountain is out of the race. Open class leaders are Recovery, Miss Mellon's race team, and Special Edition. In UIM2 class, Agitator leads, followed by Bad to the Bone and Extractor. In Pro Stock, it's Risky Business, First Defense and Team Skater. Stock class leaders are Skater Express, Conch Attack, and Vigilante Race Team. We'd like to remind our viewers that if you have any good photos, race stories, or videos, send them to Babe. She wants to put them in her show. Give her a call at 386-1154 in Miami. That's fun, 1154 in Miami. We want to hear from you, so give us a call. You too can be a Babe reporter. Up in Babe's helicopter point of view camera, we catch up to Dollar Marine Special. This boat is a 24-foot skater catamaran. It's powered by twin 250 horsepower Dollar Marine outboards and Dollar Marine outdrives. This is only their second race this year, but this team won their previous race. Right now they're running in second place in Sportsman C class. Dollar Marine Special is driven by Phil Lipschultz and throttled by Scott Lehman. Dollar Marine is the boat sponsor. This boat is a good example of a typical C-class boat. These boats are 24 or more feet long, reach speeds of about 85 miles per hour. Sportsman's class boats run shorter races than the national class boats, but these drivers need the same navigational skills that the professional racers have. The crews in these smaller boats can take a worse pounding than the drivers in the larger boats. You can see that even in this light chop, that driving these small boats is a demanding job. These guys are doing a great job. Good luck and watch out for that squall down by turn 6. Heading up the course between turn 1 and 2, we catch up with Talon Comp 37. This is a pro stock boat. This is a unique boat. It's a 37-foot Talon catamaran, and it runs triple 270 horsepower Mercury outboards. Team Talon is currently running in third place in pro stock, behind Risky Business and First Defense. In the national point standings, Team Talon is in 5th place after having missed the first 3 races of the season. In the 4 races this team has run this year, they've placed 3rd once and 4th twice. Tom Moeller drives the boat, and Paul Kesselring is the throttle man. This boat is very aerodynamic. Even the cowlings on the engines are streamlined for a smooth airflow. This is a hull with great potential. You can see the tunnel gives good lift. The only thing holding it back are the engines. This is the longest hull running in pro stock class, and frankly, the boat's a little underpowered. It's just a little too big for those 3 outboards to push. This is a boat that's just begging for some more power to show off its capabilities. As it is, the boat won't be able to live up to its potential with only 800 horsepower behind it. Chances are it will end up on the attrition boards if it is pushed very hard. That's a real shame because this hull is probably one of the best kept secrets in the industry. Let's hope they rethink their power for next season and give this boat a chance. In first place in Sportsman C, we have Endangered Species. They are currently trying to stay ahead of Dollar Marine. This boat is unique in that it has many of the safety features usually found only in professional race boats. This boat is one of only 4 boats racing in C class today. Endangered Species is a 34-foot Sut fin monohull. It's powered by twin 650 horsepower Innovation Marine engines and Arneson surface drives. The driver is Clay Wilson, and Mike Drury is the throttle man. Endangered Species is currently in 4th place in the Southeast Divisional point standings. The 3rd place boat is only 240 points ahead of Endangered Species. A 2nd place or better win today will put Endangered Species into 3rd place in the divisional standings. Right now, Endangered Species is firmly implanted in 1st place in his class and shows no signs of slowing down. In Sportsman's D class, we find Hawk Marine Power. This 38-foot cigarette is driven by Hugo Colombo and throttled by John Tomlinson. Crew members told us that they were testing new engines for this race. Apparently they didn't think that the 1st place they took in their last race was good enough. Whatever the reason, we wish them luck. Right now, those new engines aren't helping them as much as they'd like. Hawk Marine Power is running in 4th place in Sportsman's D, behind Hooters, Chill Out, and Force 10. As I mentioned earlier, this boat is one of 2 by the same name. They are being campaigned in 2 different classes. This boat started the season in open class. Midway through the season, it was changed to a D-class boat. The Hawk team now campaigns a catamaran in open class. Regardless of what class it's being run in, this boat has proved to be a reliable warhorse. Like the other Hawk Marine Power boat, it's almost guaranteed to finish the race. As we switch to our boat cam at checkpoint 2, we see Hawk Marine Power stepping up the pace as he passes Dollar Marine. Indeed, most stock boats running here are skaters. When these identical boats are running such similar equipment, it becomes a race of pure skill. The idea is to keep the lead without pushing your equipment past the breaking point. During this race, Risky Business has been going full out. Some of the other drivers seem to be holding back. The question is, which strategy will work toward the end of the race? So far, Risky Business has already driven 2 competitors past their breaking points. First Defense was in 2nd place, and Team Talon was in 3rd place as they broke down on the same lap. As we head out to checkpoint 2, the leaders are Totally Awesome in Superboat class. Miss Mellon's race team leads in open class. Bad to the Bone leads UIM2 class. Risky Business leads Pro Stock, and Skater Express leads Stock class. Babe's helicopter point of view camera catches up with the Superboat class. Little Caesars Pizza is in 2nd place in the National Points Contest. It looks like throttle man Trace Martin is trying that new strategy. He's paddling the boat with his hand. Nice try, Trace, but it's not working. Little Caesars Pizza and Totally Awesome are both powered by Cobra racing engines. Little Caesars Pizza runs triple 1,000 horsepower engines. They have Totally Awesome outpowered by 750 horsepower. There's only one reason this boat should be running in 2nd place right now. With the World Championship Series only 3 weeks away, this race team is probably saving their equipment. The rougher waters off the New Jersey coast could be their big chance. Back at checkpoint number 2, Hawk Marine Power is now in 3rd place in open class. Miss Don Q. Rum is still running in 3rd place in Pro Stock, and Totally Awesome is the Superboat leader. Little Caesars Pizza is still running in the race, but you can see that they're really holding back. The UIM2 boat, Bad to the Bone, is picking up speed and charging high risk. Bad to the Bone is pulling out all stops. He's going all out as he passes the Superboat. Evidently, the new laser racing engines he's running are working out for him. Bad to the Bone is currently the leader in UIM2 class. He edged out Agitator on the last lap. Team Skater has moved up into 3rd place in the class. This has been a very competitive class all year. Some of the best racing we've seen has been in the UIM2 class and Pro Stock class. Today is no exception. Bad to the Bone continues to stretch his lead. He's still only 2 minutes ahead of the nearest competitor. With a lap to go, it's still anybody's race. Miss Don Q Rum, owned and throttled by Felix Sorales. This boat has won 5 out of 7 races this year. The only boat with a better win record is Superboat Eric's Reality. Both boats have done so well, they've clinched the National High Points titles in Pro Stock and Superboat class. Charles Marks drove Eric's Reality to 6 victories this season. Today he's trying to drive Miss Don Q Rum to her 6th victory. Miss Don Q Rum is usually driven by Felix Sorales' brother, Juan. Today's Superboat driver, Charles Marks, has taken his place. Marks has gone on record all year in praise of the smaller boat drivers. According to Marks, he believes the best racers and the best racing go on in Pro Stock and Stock class. Marks claims he's grateful to have the opportunity to be where the action is. In Pro Stock, the hulls are almost all identical skaters. Their equipment and power is also closely matched. This is a class where the race teams really make the difference. Felix Sorales can afford to take a chance with Marks. He's almost 1,000 points ahead of his nearest competitor for the National Points Championship. Whether they win here or not, Miss Don Q Rum will be the National Pro Stock Champion. Right now, Miss Don Q Rum is in 3rd place in today's race behind High Risk and Risky Business. High over the race course at turn 6, we can see the Pro Stock and UIM2 boats as they head for the start-finish line. Team Skater is still in 3rd place in UIM2 class behind Bad to the Bone and Agitator. Driver Kevin Brown and throttleman James Dyke must finish 3rd or better to keep Agitator from beating them out for the Continental North American Championship. With only 250 points separating the teams, Agitator still has a mathematical chance to pull it off. If Agitator takes 1st or 2nd place today, Team Skater does worse than 3rd, Agitator wins the title. Right now, Agitator is in 2nd place and Team Skater is hanging on to 3rd. All 3 places are separated by less than 3 minutes. Team Skater is pouring it on with his lightning inboards in an effort to knock Agitator into 3rd place. This will be a tight race all the way to the end. If you have any good photos, race stories, or videos, send them to Babe. She wants to put them in our show. Call 386-1154 in Miami. That's fun, 1154 in Miami. She wants to hear from you, so give us a call. You can be a Babe reporter. In Sportsman's A class, Liberator has dominated the race. With 10 entries, this class had one of the largest fields running today. This boat is a 26-foot 4-winds V-bottom. This boat is the only A-class boat running in this race that's not from Florida. Driver John Noel and throttleman Mike Landman brought this boat all the way from Michigan. It looks like it'll be worth the trip when they take home the trophy. Good luck, guys. If your race team has any interesting ideas for feature stories, contact one of our site producers or cameraman. They've got those famous blue striped t-shirts on. We always are interested in new people, equipment, and race developments. You might even become our next featured race team. Give us a shout. We want to hear from you. Up in stock class, we have Skater Express. You can't talk about the winners without mentioning this boat. It's the current national high points leader in stock class, and it's finished in the money in every race this year. Right now, Skater Express is running in 1st place in stock class, Conch-Attack is in 2nd place, and Spirit of America is in 3rd place in stock class. Driver Joe Jacobson and throttle man Chip Backman have this 24-foot skater humming like a top. They have a comfortable lead in the field, and if nothing breaks, they'll win today's race in stock class. Their only serious competitor for the National High Points Championship is Hat Trick. A sudden illness kept that race team from showing today. Today's victories will be double sweet for Skater Express. Congratulations, guys. Extractor is running in 4th place in UIM2 class. They're starting to pour on the speed in an effort to finish in the money. They'll need all the speed they can get today because they were assessed a 3-minute penalty for a technical violation before the race. The Extractor race team of Alex Schiavelli, Jim Lasnowski, and Tom Rizzo have put on a good show today. This is only their second race all year, and they've stayed right up there with the top contenders today. Extractor is in 4th place behind Bad to the Bone, Agitator, and Team Skater. We'd like to remind our viewers that the APBA needs volunteers at all the race sites. Volunteers are the backbone of these events. Every phase from race registration to race patrols are staffed by volunteer help. Call the APBA National Headquarters at 313-773-9700 for more information. Right now, Charles Marks and Miss Don Q. Rum is getting a view he's not used to. It's a view of a boat passing him. All season long, Marks has been giving that view to all the other drivers on the circuit. Today, it's Miss Don Q. Rum's turn to eat weight. At the start-finish line, we see Recovery starting out for its last lap. They're in 2nd place behind Miss Mellon. Bad to the Bone leads UIM2 class. Hawk Marine Power is in 3rd place in open class. A67 Renegade brings up the rear in Sportsman's A class. Here comes Team Skater and Agitator running 2nd and 3rd in UIM2 class. Risky Business and High Risk are in a duel for the #1 spot in Pro Stock. Back up in Babe's helicopter point of view camera, we catch up to the hottest contest of the day. With less than a lap to go, Risky Business and High Risk are going at it neck and neck. After sitting out half the season, Risky Business has come back and is giving High Risk a run for the money. High Risk is owned and throttled by Richard Felsen. John Engel drives the boat. They have campaigned the boat hard all year. Just today, they clinched the #2 spot in the National High Points race. Right now, they're trying to nail down the #1 spot in this race. Risky Business just isn't going to let them. Since the 2nd lap of this race, the lead has changed between these two boats 4 times. As we head towards checkpoint #2, with only 1/2 a lap to go, it still could be anybody's race. This is going to be a race right down to the finish line. As we cut to our boat cam at checkpoint 2, we see Spirit of America running 3rd in stock class. High Risk and Risky Business are still dueling it out in Pro Stock. In open class, Recovery still continues to lead. This is another hot contest. Miss Mellon and Recovery have already swapped the lead 4 times. Here's Miss Don Q. Rum. Felix Sorellis and Charles Marks are not pushing the boat as they lope the corner at checkpoint 2. Back up in Babe's helicopter point of view camera, we're with the stock class. Spirit of America is running in 3rd place as they sprint towards checkpoint number 6. This boat is owned by Nick Antonelli. In this race, he leased it to Michael and Karen Cross. You may remember them as the Double Cross racing team. Michael throttles the boat and Karen is the driver. A regular boat is a 26-foot Image Express catamaran. Today they're running a 24-foot skater. Michael tells us he's thinking of changing boats next year and wanted to test drive this skater. The Crosses have not had a very good season this year and have finished no better than 5th place. Right now, this skater seems to be doing the trick because they're running in 3rd place. This will be the first time they've finished in the money all year. Maybe this test run will help them decide on a skater for next year. Karen and Michael are the only husband and wife team on the national circuit. Maybe they'll inspire a few more in the future. Karen really holds her own even against the guys. She was named Navigator of the Year last season. We cut to our boat cam at the start-finish line just in time to see a spectacular finish. Risky business beating out high risk in pro stock. Recovery is the apparent winner in open class. Miss Mellon's racing team is only seconds behind. Totally Awesome takes the flag in Superboat class. Miss Don Q. Rum is in 3rd place in pro stock.
What an exciting race. Now let's take a look at the finals while the winners pick up their flags.
The Superboat winners are Totally Awesome, Little Caesars Pizza, and Fountain. The official open class winners are Miss Mellon's racing team, Recovery, and Hawk Marine Power. The UIM2 class winners are Bad to the Bone, Team Skater, and Agitator. Pro stock winners are Risky Business, High Risk, and Miss Don Q. Rum. Stock class winners are Skater Express, Conch Attack, and Spirit of America. Babe Productions would like to congratulate all the National High Points champions this year. Superboats, Eric's Reality, Little Caesars Pizza, and RDS. Open class is Special Edition, Hawk Marine Power, and Miss Mellon's race team. UIM2 class, Team Skater, Agitator, and Eastern Express. Pro stock, Miss Don Q. Rum, High Risk, and First Defense. Stock class, Skater Express, Hat Trick, and Conch Attack. Congratulations, guys, and we'll see you at the World Championships.
We'd like to thank the APBA and the Suncoast Boat Racing Association for helping us bring you the Governor's Cup Challenge on video. We hope you've enjoyed the race and that you'll continue to follow the offshore action throughout the year. We'd like to remind our viewers that Babe Productions is the only video company officially sanctioned by the APBA. We'll be bringing the excitement of every race on the 1989 APBA OPT circuit right into your home with 11 editions of the Offshore Powerboat Race Report. You can keep up with the racing action all year long, and remember that the next checkered flag is just a tape away.
Oh, this is the Offshore Powerboat Race Report. Babe Productions, live at home, Volume 7. Will we be on Volume 8?
Absolutely.
We're going to be on Volume 8. Oh, God, finally my ticket out.